Good morning. It's June 17th, 2018, and this is Tucson New Thought. I'm Reverend Jonathan Zenz, and again, it's such a pleasure to have you join us for this beautiful, beautiful virtual service this Sunday morning. I'm coming to you today from Reed Park, and I decided to come here today because this is about a block away from basically the house that I grew up in. And when I think of my childhood, this park has very, very vivid memories for me. And it seemed appropriate today, on Father's Day, that I would come to a place where my father and I spent a lot of time when I was a kid. And I do want to give a shout out to my dad, who I am certain is watching this morning. Grateful to have you join us. Grateful to have everyone join us on this beautiful, beautiful Father's Day. So I want to start today with just a little bit of relaxation, allowing ourselves to come to that centered place and understanding that we are the point at which an infinite divine creative presence is expressing itself. That's what we are at the core of our beingness. We are the very presence of the divine. With this, it is important to remember that we all get to use this presence for purposes of good. And so at Tucson New Thought, what we stand for is creating a world that works for everyone through the understanding of this principle and through the application of this principle. Here to talk to us a little bit about that application is our practitioner today, a dear, dear woman whom I met when I was at the Global Truth Center back when it was the NoHo Arts Center for New Thought, studying to become a minister. And I'm grateful for her today. Please welcome Reverend Nancy Berggren.
Good morning and welcome to the Tucson New Thought Center. I'm Reverend Nancy Berggren and I'm your practitioner for today. I was so excited to be invited to speak with you by Reverend Jonathan Zenz, the founder of the Tucson New Thought Center. And I want to begin with a quote by Thomas Troward from The Paradigm Shift. He says this: "If we do what we are able to do today, it will open the way for us to do something better tomorrow. Sometimes the things we have to do in a day seem mundane, and we don't feel excited about them. We may not feel that they're purposeful. And yet what I've discovered is that when I apply myself enthusiastically to whatever is in front of me today, it might be gardening or shopping or even cleaning, studying, reading, praying, whatever it is, if we are enthusiastic about participating in whatever is before us in this moment, then we feel fulfilled. It fills us up with joy. And then we're able tomorrow to do something even better. We're ready tomorrow. We've completed today. And we're ready tomorrow to begin something new, something different, and be enthusiastic about that as well. So join with me in prayer, if you will. If it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. I close my eyes now to shut out the world of appearances, to shut out all the noise, all the to-do lists, everything that's been done or hasn't been done, and know that in this moment, right now, I am right where I need to be. You are right where you need to be. You are always in the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing. And I invite us now to apply ourselves to whatever is before us. And when we do that, we're doing God, we're being God, we're living life. Life is energy. And when we're enthusiastic about life, whatever is in front of us in the moment, whether it's even babysitting, whatever it might be in the moment, whether it might be creating a new computer program, it might be balancing your checking account, reconciling, it might be applying for a new job. Apply yourself enthusiastically in each moment. And then the next moment will open to something better, and then something better, and something better. So I know that this moment is divine. This moment is divinely appointed for us, for all of us who are on this call and who will ever watch this at some time in the future. We're all called to this word, this energy, this moment, this excitement, this quote by Thomas Troward, and how we each apply it to our own lives. My application will be different from yours, but it will not be less purposeful. Your application, your accomplishment will be purposeful, will be filled with life and with joy and with energy and with passion. And because you approach each and every day and everything that comes to you to do each and every day, your life will be filled with joy, with accomplishment, with satisfaction, and a knowing that you are contributing to the world. Our thoughts are energy, and every thought is either adding to the positive energy of the world or the negative energy of the world, and it's just a choice. That's all it is, just a choice. So when we choose another way, we just choose again and begin again. That's the glory of every day, of every morning, is the opportunity to begin again. So I welcome you, I welcome myself to begin to complete each day to satisfaction. And when we wake in the morning, to wake with enthusiasm and gratitude and ready for this new day, each new day. I'm grateful for this word that has been spoken. I'm grateful for sharing this time with you, for you sharing this time with me, those online and those in the presence. And I lovingly release this word now as law to God mind, knowing that it is done. I invite you to cement it by saying it with me, and so it is. I'm Reverend Nancy Berggren. Thank you for joining us. Namaste.
Thank you, Nancy. So, I'm not in the same place that I was. So, to be totally upfront and frank, this is a pre-recorded session. As you know, some of the segments are when we do our Sunday virtual celebration. But I wanted to comment on something that Nancy brought up. I really love this quote of Thomas Troward that she used. If we do what we are able to do today, it will open the way for us to do something better tomorrow. What a great quote. And I think one of the things, I love what Nancy has to say about it. And I want to add to it this. One of the key words in that for me is this, able. If we do what we are able to do today, it will open the way for us to do something better tomorrow. This is a big message for me this week. And one of the things that it has led me to is this idea. For many, many years, I decided that I couldn't play the piano. And I had wanted to play the piano. I was asking for lessons when I was a kid, and it just never really worked out. There's no fault or blame here. It never really worked out in the way that I would have liked it to work out. So I never really learned to play the piano. I mean, I could plunk out a note here and there, and I could look at a piece of music and say, "Oh, I get that's middle C," and I would hit the note. Truth be told, I was doing what I was able to do at the moment, and now I'm able to do something else. So, my big musical surprise today is this. I've been spending the last couple months just really starting to try and literally force myself to sit down and play a little bit every day so that I can get more comfortable with the keyboard. And what I decided to do today was to challenge myself to play and sing a song for you. So that is what today's musical surprise is all about. Here we go. So I'm going to start off by starting this drone over here. It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me.
I am touched by amazing grace, and all I ever wanted, all I ever needed, was already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit, and it is health to my body, it is peace to my mind, it is joy, it is joy to my soul. And I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit, and it is health to my body, it is peace to my mind, it is joy, it is joy, it is joy, it is joy to my soul. And I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me. I am touched by amazing grace, and all I ever wanted, all I ever needed, is already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air.
Welcome back. It seems strange to say welcome back when you just saw my face, but there's something about that song, Nearer Than the Air, that really touches my soul. I remember the first time I heard it, I just went, oh, it just resonates deeply with me. The whole concept that there is absolutely nothing that can ever be closer to us than the infinite divine presence, because that's who and what we are. We cannot be closer to it because it is us, and it is everything that we experience. It is literally closer, nearer than the air. You know, it is a great reminder to me, always, when I hear or sing that song, that it is ineffable. this thing called love, loving presence. It's completely ineffable. It is working for us always, 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 always. It is working for us as us. And I really needed that this week. This week, actually, I will tell you, was a challenging week for me in many ways. So here's what happened this week. This is really what I want to talk about. You know, today's talk, difference of a day, the roller coaster, or the universe has your back. All of these things are very true. First of all, the difference of a day. At the beginning of this week, I was fairly settled that we had a place to rent, that we were going to gather as a community. And it felt very, very likely like it was going to happen, that we were on the verge of signing a lease. Now, leading up to this, what was happening is several weeks ago, you may recall I even mentioned it, several weeks ago I had gone to look at a space, and I put in an application on the space, and I didn't hear, and I didn't hear, and I didn't hear. And I made some inquiries around the space, and they said, well, maybe this space isn't available, but this other space is. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll go look at this other space. The other space didn't really work out. Exhausting, right? So I had to let go of some of my expectations around that. And what happened after that is I did go to California. You may recall a couple weeks ago I was in California. And so I just let it drop at that point. I came back, I did some more follow-ups, and I didn't hear. And I did a follow-up, and I didn't hear. And I did a follow-up, and I didn't hear. And there's a part of me that started saying, maybe the universe is trying to tell me something here. I don't know. So, but I'm going to keep pursuing this because this seems like such a good idea. It seems like so necessary for what this community can be. So last Monday, I called the leasing agent, and he explained to me what was going on. Totally fine. I said, great. We were moving forward in a direction. And something still wasn't sitting quite right with me. Cut to Thursday. There was a moment where one aspect of the arrangement that we had made did not follow through. It did not come through. And it doesn't matter what the details of that are. But something happened to me in that moment. When I recognized that the deal was falling through, I felt relief. And thank you for calling me out on that feeling of relief to Reverend Patrick Farron, who said, what did you feel when it fell apart? And I said, I felt relief. He said, there's your answer. There's your answer. Now, had I actually listened to several weeks ago, something not quite feeling right around this entire expression, this entire experience, I might have saved myself some of the angst I went through for the weeks following. So it was a difference of a day. Wednesday, everything seemed to be on track. Thursday, it all fell apart. Part of what's happening with Tucson New Thought is we are showing up in a way that, actually, I'll tell you what it makes me think of is Sunday in the Park with George is a musical by Stephen Sondheim, and the musical opens with these words: white, a blank page or canvas. This is really how I feel about Tucson New Thought. It is a completely blank page, and we as a community get to decide what it is going to be. That's the great joy and power we have, is that we get to decide what it's going to be. So what I perceived as a setback was merely a perception of a setback. A seemingly small aspect of this arrangement which fell through led me to actually a brief grieving process. I went through anger, I went through denial, I went through bargaining, I went through depression, and I finally arrived at acceptance. And here's why I arrived at acceptance. Because I remember who I am. I remember I am not the circumstances that surround me. I am that which is. I get to create the circumstances around me. This thing is always working through us as us. So I can't be disappointed. Actually, what I need to do is celebrate. I need to celebrate that the universe has my back. There was something about this deal that was not right, and the universe was protecting me. The universe is protecting me. It is always protecting me. I have been protected from putting the cart before the horse. Excitement about something does not always equate to right action. I want to say that again. Excitement does not always equate to right action. What we must do is we must check in more deeply when we feel so excited about something, just to make sure. Check in more deeply, and we must trust what we find. We always know whether we can admit it or not. For many weeks, I couldn't admit that something just didn't feel right about this decision. I was very excited about it, but ultimately what I recognize is that it was not the right action. And I do believe that it would have put this entire experience, this entire community, this entire thing called Tucson New Thought, which I am so excited to build, in jeopardy. So, the difference of a day. Had I listened to the universe, I would have had no delay. This is the roller coaster part of it, right? We get into these ups and downs and the ups and downs, and they felt very pronounced on that day. I went through the roller coaster up and down on that day. But the universe always has my back. So what does any of this mean? Ultimately, as a spiritual principle, it doesn't matter that the universe has our back unless we're actually putting it into practical application. So here's what I'm going to encourage all of us to do today. This. Let's not be afraid of letting go of the perception of what we think should be. Let us let go of the perception of what we think should be. Frequently, those perceptions are tied into past experiences that are no longer relevant in our present moment experience. Do what you are able to do. Like Troward said, here's the thing. If I really sat down and thought about it, Tucson New Thought is not in a position where it would have been able to take on the overhead of that kind of space. And that's okay. What we need to do is do what we are able to do so that the something better can unfold. I trust that we will have a perfect space at some point. I had been forcing an idea. Where might you be forcing an idea in your life? It's just something to check in on. We have to let go. We have to let go so that something better can show up. Ultimately, something is unfolding. There are new ideas. Letting go of this one preconceived notion of what I thought it should be has opened me up to other ideas about what it can be. And ultimately, those feel good. Let go. You will know, ultimately, we will all know when the risk of doing something is right. It's a matter of faith. And the universe always has your back. Namaste. So given the story of the unfoldment and ultimate letting go of the physical space for Tucson New Thought, I want to encourage you to recognize that it is through your contribution that we are able to build this community. And so I encourage you today to take a moment to allow yourself to resonate with what is it that inspires you. And if Tucson New Thought is a space that inspires you, I encourage you to make an investment in this place, in this space, in this expression of spirit as it is right now. I do still have a plan that in July we will be coming together to meet in person someplace. I don't know where it is. I have some ideas. To do that, it is going to require a financial commitment. And I encourage you to click on that donate button. Allow yourself to give of yourself, give of your financial treasure so that we can really build this place together. Click on that donate button in the description field of the Facebook feed, or if you're watching on YouTube, it's down in the description below. If you're watching on our website, you can click pretty much anywhere. There's a button, there are buttons all over the website. Together, we can build this thing called Tucson New Thought. And so I'm grateful for what you offer. I'm grateful for what you contribute, and know and trust that it is used wisely. That was the thing. I got to make a wise decision about the use of the funds that come into Tucson New Thought. These funds are used wisely, and I trust that they always will be. So thank you for making your contribution here today. Take a breath. Let's allow ourselves to relax, resonate, and become renewed in the understanding that there is only one thing going on: God. Infinite divine presence, love, whatever you choose to call it, spirit, doesn't matter. It is who and what each and every one of us is. And so let's ground this truth in a closing treatment. As Nancy said, if you are comfortable closing your eyes, feel free to do so. I close my eyes to allow myself to focus in on this understanding, on this presence. For I know that right here, right now, there is only the good. There is only goodness and light and love and peace, power, beauty, joy, all unfolding infinitely, magnificently, because that's all that exists. This one infinite creative power. It is who and what each and every one of us is. We are the point at which God itself is expressing as us. We are living its life. We are loving as it. We are the very presence of God. Knowing this and trusting this, I claim right here and right now that all that we choose comes to fruition in its perfect way. There's nothing we need to force. All we need to do is have faith to allow the good in our lives to unfold magnificently. This is what I am doing right in the here and now, and I trust this is what each and every one of us is doing. Allowing the good, and allowing the good, and allowing the good. Knowing this and trusting this, and simply saying, yes, it is so. I claim it to be so, and I know it is so. It is with a grateful heart that I simply allow, trust, and let fly this perfection to come into realization. I let it be so, as together we say, and so it is. I'm so grateful to you for joining me here today. There's much, much more to come, so keep an eye out. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you all next week. Namaste.